July 4th, 1957. While America was celebrating Independence Day with fireworks, a covert meeting was underway at Detroit's Book Cadillac Hotel. Top executives from Ford and Chrysler weren't toasting freedom. They were drafting a desperate letter. The Chevrolet 283 Fuelie must be stopped at any cost. This wasn't racing anymore. This was industrial warfare. A small V8 engine, just 283 cubic inches, was making the mighty 392 Hemis, 312 Y blocks, and 365 Cadillacs look obsolete. With its Rochester Ramjet mechanical fuel injection, the 283 Fuelie wasn't just stronger, it was lighter, more precise, and far more terrifying. Ford and Chrysler couldn't catch it on the track, so they set out to kill it in the boardroom. But behind that technical assassination lies a story you've never heard. Engineering breakthroughs, political sabotage, threats, and a truth buried for over 60 years. By the mid-1950s, the American auto industry had entered an unprecedented horsepower race. Americans craved speed. The interstate highway system was expanding. NASCAR, NHRA, and SECA were filling TV screens, and the big three, Ford, Chrysler, and Chevrolet, were locked in a no-holds-barred battle. Who could build the most powerful, most affordable, and most accessible V8? Ford had the Thunderbird, with its 292 Y block. Chrysler countered with its firepower Hemis, boasting 331 or 354 cubic inches. But Chevrolet took a different path, smarter, riskier. Under Chief Engineer Ed Cole, Chevy pursued a radical vision: build a compact, lightweight, durable, easy-to-produce V8 engine that could outperform them all. In 1955, Chevy introduced the 265 cubic inch small block, their first. It was simple, efficient, easy to modify, and instantly became a hit among mechanics and racers. But to Ed Cole, that was just the beginning. He wanted more. A V8 for the masses, with the heart of a race engine, capable of powering everything from a Bel Air to a Corvette. That answer was the 283rd, an evolution of the 265th, but this time paired with Rochester Ramjet mechanical fuel injection, a technology that would forever change how Americans understood power, performance, and precision. This system was designed by engineer John Dolzer, a man who had studied German fighter aircraft engines during World War II while working as a POW for the Allies. With a vision far ahead of his time, Dolzer brought aerospace-level technology straight into the heart of an everyday Chevrolet. Unlike traditional carburetors, which relied on airflow vacuum to pull fuel in, the Rochester Ramjet used mechanical components to pump fuel directly into each cylinder. The result? More precise combustion, less waste, and blisteringly fast throttle response, almost instantaneous. Mechanics affectionately called it the Fuelie, a nickname short in form but deep in respect. But inside the Flint, Michigan engine plant, the top-spec 283 earned another name, Cole's Comet, for its explosive, almost cosmic performance. The Fuelie wasn't just an upgrade, it was a technological statement, a bold punch at rivals resting on their laurels. And that bold decision to bring mechanical fuel injection to a mass-market engine propelled Chevrolet to an unprecedented milestone. In 1957, they became the first American automaker to achieve 1 horsepower per cubic inch, a new standard for performance. The 283 cubic inch engine, when paired with the Rochester Ramjet system, produced exactly 283 horsepower at high RPM. At a time when larger rivals like the Ford 292 delivered just 205 HP, or the Chrysler Hemi 301 managed 255 horsepower, Chevy's figure felt like it came from the future. Even more impressive, the 283 didn't need massive displacement or excessive weight, while the 392 Hemi tipped the scales at up to 725 pounds. The 283 weighed in at just around 600 pounds. Lighter, more compact, and more efficient. That gave it a superior power-to-weight ratio. Chevrolet knew they had a trump card and quickly equipped their flagship models, from the Corvette to the Bel Air, with the 283 Fuelie. That meant fighter jet-grade technology was now in the hands of everyday American drivers. And to prove that the 283 Fuelie's performance wasn't just a spec sheet fantasy, Chevrolet took it to the ultimate test: the racetrack. The first battlefield? NASCAR. In February 1957, on the legendary sands of Daytona Beach, driver Marvin Panch piloted Smokey Unix number 98 Chevy, powered by the 283 Fuelie, to a dominating victory. It didn't just win, it crushed the field, ushering in a new small block era. On road courses, the 1957 Corvette with the 283 was reborn as a true speed weapon. John Fitch, a World War II veteran and seasoned racer, drove the Fuelie Corvette to a first-in-class finish at the 12 Hours of Sebring. Meanwhile, the flying dentist, Dick Thompson, left Jaguar and Porsche teams shaking their heads at SCCA events. On the drag strip, where fractions of a second decide everything, the 283 continued to shine. Drag legend Dino Don Nicholson, along with racer engineer Hayden Proffitt, transformed the 283 into an 11-second beast. In AGAS and BGAS classes, 283-powered Chevys often outran much larger rivals. It wasn't just powerful, it was tunable, fixable, battle-hardened, a grassroots dream. The 283rd Fuelie's relentless victories didn't just frustrate the competition, they terrified them. Ford and Chrysler realized they couldn't match Chevrolet's technology on the track, so they turned to politics. According to insiders, a Ford vice president directly threatened General Motors, "Quit racing, or we'll leak the Corvair death trap files." A dirty move, but it worked. Chrysler joined in, bribing UAW union leaders to protest dangerous speeds in motorsports. Tensions escalated. Then came the first blow. Just days after Chevy's Daytona triumph, the FBI raided Smokey Unix's shop, accusing him of using weapons-grade technology due to the advanced fuel injection system. Agents seized his Ramjet units at gunpoint. Unix later recalled, "They told me, build carbs or build coffins." Not long after, the next bombshell dropped. In June 1957, the Automobile Manufacturers Association announced a voluntary withdrawal from all racing activities, but in reality, it was the result of political pressure and antitrust fears. GM had no choice but to comply. Then came the final nail. NASCAR banned fuel injection outright starting in 1958, citing excessive cost and complexity. But everyone knew it was a move to shackle Chevrolet, force them back to carburetors, and kill the 283 Fuelie during its peak. Racers like Hayden Proffitt had to strip their Ramjet systems and revert to carburetors just to stay legal. But the execution didn't stop at the racetrack. It reached deep into GM's secret testing labs and prototype garages. A Camaro prototype powered by a 283 Fuelie, built by Ed Cole's team in defiance of the ban, once hit 140 miles per hour in testing. But when GM executives saw the results, They panicked. The car was destroyed shortly after. Around the same time, a special 1963 Corvette Fuelie prototype was prepared for Le Mans, but the project was cancelled. No one was allowed to witness the 283rd Fuelie Triumph again. Once a point of pride, the 283 was relegated to basic sedans, light-duty trucks, and economy models. By the time the 327 debuted in 1962 and the 350 followed in 1967, both based on 283 architecture, the Fuelie had become a discarded innovation. And yet, even as it was forced off the stage, the 283 Fuelie never truly disappeared. Instead, it left behind a technical legacy that pulsed through every American road on four wheels. The 283's 90-degree small block architecture, with cast iron block, pushrod OHV design, compact combustion chambers, lightweight construction, ease of manufacturing, and mod-friendliness, became the foundation for nearly every high-performance Chevrolet 508 that followed. From this foundation came the 327 cubic inch revered on the road and the 350 small block, which became the beating heart of American muscle cars throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Both inherited the 283's engineering philosophy, practicality, and mechanical soul. Its influence stretched into the modern era. In 1997, Chevy launched the LS-V8 series, beginning with the LS1, a fuel-injected aluminum block that remained compact, simple, powerful, and endlessly tunable, fitting everything from Corvettes to Silverados. The LS is the clearest spiritual descendant of the 283 Fuelie. In other words, the 283rd didn't die, it evolved, and it lives on in every bow-tie-badged performance car, past, present, and future. The 283 Fuelie wasn't just an engine, it was a revolution silenced by fear and politics. It proved that performance doesn't have to come from sheer size, but from vision, engineering, and the courage to challenge the norm. If it hadn't been banned, could the 283 have reshaped the entire American car industry? Could muscle cars have been lighter, smarter, instead of just bigger and thirstier? What do you think? Drop a comment below. Do you believe the 283 Fuelie was killed for being too advanced? If you enjoy forgotten stories and shocking automotive truths like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We've got more mechanical mysteries coming your way, where history and horsepower always collide.